before we started the rehearsal last weekend, Teddy Claiborne came up to me and asked me if I was nervous about giving my talk. I said, no, I never get nervous anymore, ever. And he said, oh, well, that's good. And as he was walking away, I said, that was a joke. So anyway, I'm Alex Shedd. I'm a senior at St. Christopher's. For 4 years now, I've been heavily involved in the school theater program, Ampersand, mainly as an actor. Last fall, I co-founded the STC Improv Club, Improvisational Comedy Club, with another senior, Annabelle O'Hagan, a close friend of mine. Before I get into that, I'm going to show you guys a video. So
we go to a game called Sound Effects. This is for Colin and Ryan. Colin's going to improvise a scene, but he has to respond to sound effects made by Ryan. And the scene is, Colin, you're an American GI escaping from a German prisoner of war camp, like in The Great Escape, something like that.
For those of you who don't know, that was the TV show Whose Line Is It Anyway?, which is a show about improv comedy. That's all they do on the show. So first of all, what is improv? We've heard that word thrown around a lot tonight. Improv is short for improvisational, or in this case, improvisational comedy. It was originally created as a theatrical form, and basically it's the art of creating a scene on the spot, of creating action, dialogue, character, plot, all right there while it's happening. And there's only one rule in improv, we say, and that's yes and, which means that when you're in a scene, you have to collaborate with your scene partners. You can't shoot down anything they say. You have to take what they bring to the scene every moment, and you have to add to it and continue in complete collaboration. So Improv Club meets once a week for an hour over in the theater at St. Catherine's. And basically what we do is we play games. We play improv games for the entire hour. We play games that can be complicated, like one we do called Good Cop, Bad Cop, which is a 3-character game. There's one character who's just your average suburban homeowner. They've got a problem in their house. For example, one time we did a scene where he had spilled wine on the carpet. So he calls a steam cleaner, and he doesn't know that the people that he's talking to are ex-cops who used to do a good cop, bad cop routine. And so these two characters come to the homeowner's house, and they have to do their routine to the homeowner in order to find out the source of the problem. By the end of that scene, we were pretty sure there had been a murder. And then we also do very simple games, like there's one we do called Questions, which, I mean, all it is you have to have an entire conversation just using questions. And I actually have my friend Manny Gunter over here, who's a member of Improv Club. We're going to give you an example. So, Manny, are you enjoying the show?
When's it going to be over?
Aren't you having a good time?
Do you want to do something after?
Why are you avoiding the question?
Do I seem nervous to you?
Why are you... Anyway. So at Improv Club, we usually have about 10 to 20 students, at least half of which come on a regular basis. And they're not just actors, they're writers and musicians and athletes and teachers even, and basically everywhere in between. And it's a really incredible thing because people really come out of their shells when they're playing these improv games. I've seen people that I haven't heard more than 3 words from go absolutely crazy and be dogs or burglars or anything you could possibly think of. And so that's a really incredible thing. But the title of my presentation is Improv, a serious discussion, and it's not just because of my extremely serious demeanor. Practicing improv has merit. It has merit in several different ways. Of course, it has theatrical merit. Actors use improv all the time as a means of building character or building backstory. Then it also has musical merit. Jazz musicians, they make up solos on the spot. That's what they do. And rappers, they often freestyle #1 hits, and believe it or not, that takes practice. Then there's also literary merit. Improvising free write is the best way to get around writer's block. And poetry is defined as the sudden outburst of powerful emotion, which that sounds like improv to me. And then there's also, on an even more serious level, there's emotional merit. Practicing improv relieves stress and helps with anxiety disorders. And there's social merit. Practicing improv, having to collaborate with your scene partners, and a lot of times giving up your dignity for the sake of humor, building a scene. It lets you, it makes friends and lets you build connections like nothing you've ever seen. And then of course there's professional merit. Practicing improv is absolutely essential for job interviews, being able to answer those curveball questions on the spot, for practicing law or politics, being able to argue your questions and your arguments. And I'd say it even has merit for emergency workers, for firefighters and doctors who have to know what to do every second of a situation, no matter how it changes. And to add on to that, there's also an entire discipline of therapy that uses improv. It's called drama therapy, and basically what happens is you role play, and you play a character outside of yourself, and it lets you see your inner problems and let you know how to deal with them. I actually have a quote on that. Under the guise of playing pretend, we can, for once, act in new ways. The bit of distance from real life afforded by drama enables us to gain perspective on our real life roles and patterns and actions, and to experiment actively with alternatives. And that's Renee Eminon, who's a PhD, and she's the head of the drama therapy department at the California University of Integral Arts. And then also, improv has been shown to help memory and logic. A couple years back, a group of scientists took a group of 11 senior citizens living in a nursing home and put them in an improv class for 1 hour a week for 8 weeks. And by the end of the experiment, all of the seniors had seen dramatic increases in executive function and phonemic cognition, which means that just by doing improv for 1 hour a week for 2 months, all of these people, they had better logic skills, better reasoning skills, they could write better, they could speak better, and their memories were better. 1 hour a week for 8 weeks. But why is it important to us, high school students, right now? Well, simply, people who graduate from St. Catherine's and St. Christopher's, they go on to become lawyers and doctors and politicians and writers. And practicing improv is absolutely essential for all of those things, as I've shown you. And even right now, in our busy, busy lives, even as a second semester senior, practicing improv once a week, it relieves stress, and as I've shown, it helps your memory. So I can study better, as I do much studying. My math teacher is in the room. And it really, really helps. But even beyond that, we've heard a lot about improv tonight, because practicing improv is about going out of your comfort zone. It's about breaking down barriers. It's about finding a way around, and it's about creating. And as an extremely influential and innovative generation, it could be one of the most important parts of our lives. Thank you.